so much stuff to cover, man. We have Mike Wilson came knocking at my door, so I have to talk about that. Sanger Patriots. Man, we had a great time in Aubrey this weekend. You know, I also need to talk about all the gaslighting happening. And the flyer, the infamous flyer that Dade Phelan paid for. What's going on, Pilot Point? We have been so busy. I've been so busy. I had to don the stars and stripes because there's been so much division in this town that I wanted to come on and explain some things. So let's talk about why you haven't seen me in a while. I have been super busy. So I volunteered to help the team citizens with all their communication to you guys. So I've been swamped with that. The mayor hired me to get some communication done as well. You'll be seeing more of that, what I've been working on, soon coming, right, Mayor? You're gonna put it out soon? And man, I have been going from event to event. Patriots get together and have education seminars, and these are the things that I partake in, and these are the things I go to so I can stay informed. I don't rely on other people's gossip about what Texas is doing. So I put myself in a situation where I get the education firsthand from the people that are standing up for us in Austin. So that keeps me very busy. You know, I actually got Robert Ramirez. I'm gonna be shooting his kickoff campaign for his run on Friday, April 25th. I'm gonna be in Dallas at the Reagan Day dinner for the Dallas GOP. They're having their gala there, and you don't want to miss it because they have Rand Paul that's gonna be their guest speaker. They're gonna have all kinds of great speakers, people running for office. It's gonna be unbelievable, and you don't want to miss it. We had it here. We had our Denton Reagan Lincoln Day dinner in January, and it was amazing. It was the best Reagan Lincoln Day dinner that I've been to in a long time. We had Steve Bannon that was the guest speaker, and it was unbelievable. So if you can go to Dallas, I'll put a link in the description, and you can go get your tickets if you can go. So I said it in the intro to this video, but I've been doing these videos for interviews, and I wanted to introduce the candidates to you. I've reached out to a few other candidates, but I keep on getting I'm not gonna be fair to their candidate, which that's complete BS. I seriously wanna get down and have a conversation with people. I wanna understand where they're coming from, what's happening, why they believe in what they believe, and I got to have that little conversation with Mike Wilson. Mike Wilson came knocking at my door, and he was the only one that had the balls to do it. So he came up to me, I was cutting the grass, and we just had a conversation. And here's a little bit of that. You know, you're lined up with people that actually took somebody to court because she was exercising her First Amendment rights. They are lined with you, and I know you're not that person, but I'm recording this. I want to know why you would be okay with that. I know that there's a sentiment of, hey, you know, these are good guys. He's somebody in the church. Brian, same thing with him. They have all communicated with each other outside and done some really illegal things because it's against the law for what they've been doing. I want to know why you would line yourself up with them, because you seem like a good dude. We've talked, like you said, and I'm sure we've had a good back and forth, but are they using you? Are you allowing them to take your good name and say, hey, you know, we got to make sure that these people won't come in, because we need Brett Luskin in here. We need to make sure the city gets more power than the people, and that's what we've been up against. When I was on city council, I was blown away with how they cared more about what the city was doing versus supporting you or me out here. So I just like to know, why would you line up with them and allow them to use you to basically say you're against them?
Okay, I'm going to say something. He
Sure.
is not being used.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Okay,
fine. Well, what do you? I really, because you're the one that we're going to be voting for. So
Yeah.
what do you have to say?
Well, one, I'm not being used by anybody.
Okay.
I'm my own person. I will have my own vote in the council just like everybody else. I have no idea about why the city had to file suit against Miss Burgess. I have no idea.
Here's another question. I'm sorry to interrupt. So, do you think it was the right idea?
I wasn't privy to all the information. So.
Nope, just question.
Can't answer
Do you
that.
think someone exercising their First Amendment right is worth taking them to court?
You don't know all the information, so
Well,
you can't.
first off, I you know.
It's a hard question. I know because you're.
No, okay, the answer is let me answer this. One question is, yes, a person can have their First Amendment right to speak however they want to, just like you can, I can, she can.
And protest the court.
Protest the court and petition your government,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, all that stuff. That's wonderful. Freedom of religion, freedom of the press, all 5 elements of the First Amendment. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, I have no idea about the legalities of the petition. You know, the other side is that it was not done properly. There was forged, according to some people, there were forged signatures.
Wow.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm not making judgment.
No.
I don't judge people.
No,
okay?
I
not
love
judging
this.
Ms. Burgess. I'm
No.
not judging Chad. I'm not judging Mr. Ambrose. I'm not judging Brian, Mr. Dane, the mayor, or Miss Jones. I'm not judging any of these people.
No one is.
It's not my job.
I want to know what you would have done.
Well, I would have 1 vote on the city council. And
But if you-
I cannot say, and I'm not trying to dodge your question.
No, it's okay.
but
I'm going to
cannot
press
say-
you.
I'm not going to
He
say.
wasn't privy to all that. He wasn't there.
I do not know all the information.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I've been on other boards that we've sued. We sued the UIL.
Okay, here's the difference. I want to make sure that if somebody just exercised their First Amendment rights and say you were told that she forged a document, okay? Say she did that. Do you still think it was the right thing to sue her for it? Doesn't matter. She was exercising her First Amendment right. It was, and it's just the information that we all know.
I can't answer that. I really can't. I'm not trying to dodge.
No problem. And you know what? I'll drop it. I'll drop
thank
it.
you.
So, the meetings outside of City Council, do you think that is a part of what City Council should be doing?
No meetings outside of the city council by a majority of the board. Right?
Absolutely. When you have a walking quorum, that's against the law, for one. So you would be totally against that because that's what the 6 have been doing. Absolutely.
Against that. No, I'm not going to be part of anything like that. But
And we don't know that they've done that.
And you know what?
I mean, we can hear you say that they have, but that doesn't mean that we know that they have. We've not witnessed that. We not.
Have you
we have
witnessed
not.
everyone is on the same sheet of music every time there's a vote, except for Elisa?
no, actually,
No.
most of the votes go 7-0. Except for last night when she wanted to have that other
Not
contract with TGAA, which was, I'm so grateful
He was-
people looked into that
yeah.
and kept the city out of that.
Well, thank you so much. I know I'm a hard questioner. I know I put those questions out there. I do truly.
I kept waiting for you to call me for an interview. And
Do you want to have an interview? See, that's the whole thing. I've reached out to one, then it started dominoing.
Yeah.
I want to talk to everybody because it's I'm going to give you those questions in front of everybody.
myself.
So let's set up some time for us to be on camera and we'll just ask some questions. Nothing different than what I've been doing. It's just a matter of questions.
Well, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to have a.
He doesn't want to talk about negativity.
Okay,
I can tell you,
okay.
Aaron, he's
I am
not.
That's
not-
a problem.
Well,
That's a
and
problem.
if you want to,
Yeah.
then he's not your
Okay.
man.
Yeah,
Because
if you're
he
doing
is
it for-
not.
for
If you're
clickbait
doing that,
on your
he's
stuff,
not going to do it. He is
no.
not going to buy into the negativity. And I'm going to speak because I'm not. I wouldn't let him run if he was going to do that. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely not.
For,
That's the problem, Aaron. You do this for a living, so you're here and you're wanting to stir up shit.
And that's not
I'm,
what
I'm
we
really.
want.
the
honest to
Hispanic people
goodness,
aren't stirring up shit.
I'm not talking
No.
about Hispanic.
Okay.
I'm talking about you.
He
Really?
wants
Personally.
positivity.
Okay.
I'm not stirring up
for
shit.
you.
I
hope
fight
not.
for
I hope
rights.
not.
I
We
fight.
don't want you to. We don't want you. We want you to be positive. And
Yes.
and the
We can be
Hispanic
positive once we acknowledge what is wrong in the city and face it and fix it. And I think if you're willing to stand up and fix this situation in Pilot Point, you are the man. You're the man for this job. It's going to be hard. It's going to be not being the nice guy to half of the city. It's about doing what's right.
No, I'm a
no
nice
matter.
guy to everybody.
That's
He
a
does.
problem.
Is
You
it?
have
Why
to
is
do
that?
what's
Why is
right,
that?
and it does. Look, Ambrosio's
No.
that. Ambrosio's that. I have talked to him about this. I said, Ambrosio, you have to step up for the people. You have
I
to.
can step up, but I can also
you-
be nice and positive.
You can't be nice to
Yes,
everybody.
well, yes, you can.
Fighting for the
Oh
people
my
will
God.
piss off somebody.
How can you not? Yes, I piss off people. I've pissed off plenty
That's
of
why
people.
so many
okay?
people are mad and angry at me.
He was a referee. He was a
I was a referee
referee.
for 33 years. I pissed off lots of people, okay? But they're still my
But this,
friends.
but
They're still
yeah,
nice.
me and Ambrosio are
We can-
friends,
I'm
but I
still
told
nice
him
to
he's just.
I can come, like you're the coach. Hey, coach, but you're escalating situations.
I'm trying to solve situations.
That is not solving situations.
How do you solve a hard situation?
That is not how you're doing it. It's not solving it, Aaron.
Facing it
you're just
straight on
you're just trying to
is
get clicks.
how. No, I don't want clicks.
Yes, you
I
do.
hope not.
I don't want
I
clicks.
Hope not.
Well, you know what I want? I
He
want
wants-
everybody in this town to be equals. That's what I want.
We are.
Same.
There was a call that we had to make on city council. It was for the highways and the streets and how we had to frame them. It was going to take some people's land.
Mm-hmm.
You had either that choice to choose from this plan or let the builders do it themselves and never choose a plan. We had to choose what we knew versus what we didn't know. We made so many people mad. So many people mad. It's that verges on the eminent domain, which is absolutely something I stand against. But what do? Do you let the builder that will do whatever they want,
Right.
or will you go with what the county says? You're going to make people angry doing the
That's
right
true.
thing, and this is all I'm
Yes,
saying.
I know that.
There is no way to make being nice on everything, and this is what I'm talking
Okay,
about. I'm not
okay,
talking about
okay.
being
Well,
cordial.
I understand that I will make people angry and some people happy, and the next time I make them
Yeah,
angry
exactly.
and them happy. I understand that. That's part of the job, and I'm good with that. I'm okay with that.
He
Okay.
is. But he's not going to.
But-
He is not going to get on the internet and he's not going to
I
get
think
out
you-
there and voice negativity. He's not going to respond to that. He is going to listen, and he is going to keep everything positive and it's all within the listening and
The
doing
problem
the
is
job
we're
on
worrying
the
all about all this
dice.
negativity and all this stuff that's happened in the past, and unfortunately, people like me who are running, who have not even involved in any of that stuff, cannot even talk about the issues that are going forward.
Because it comes up. Because
The only,
that was
and
your
the only
question.
reason is because it seems like that group is using you. That's what it looks like from
He is
people.
running on his own.
Because it's
Okay.
you versus them.
Well,
That's all.
okay,
And
but then we.
it's cool.
Okay. So
But
I'm
here's
just
the.
telling you,
I
I'm
just
just telling you.
I wanted to ask some
All right.
questions. But hey, if you want to sit down and do this, and that would be awesome. I would love
I'm
to
not
do
going to
that.
talk about all the negative stuff.
He's not going to answer all
You wanna
those
talk about the
questions.
issue?
It's gonna
Do
seem
you
like
wanna
it's gonna seem like you're sidestepping. You don't want to talk about it, and
That's
it'll
not
look
it.
bad.
Then we won't do it. Then he won't do it because we're going to stay positive. We're not going to be drawn into the negativity.
There's nothing I can
don't-
add to any of that stuff that's
We got to
I
look
have no
forward. We
knowledge
got to
of
look
any of that
forward.
stuff.
If we don't, the growth of Pilot Point's going to take control.
There's half of this city that feels like you'll forget them
No.
by just moving forward because
not
you're
gonna
not
forget
willing to
them.
go after
No.
what has been wrong in
We're
the
going to
city.
listen to them.
I
He's going
have-
to listen to them.
Hey, thank you so much. I don't want to make y'all feel uncomfortable.
No.
Thanks,
I'm
guys.
not.
I
I'm
truly
polite and come by
I appreciate your time.
Talk to you.
He's yeah. I mean, and I had no idea you lived there.
Well, y'all have a good one. Hey, this
Keep it
this
positive,
is
shop local.
this is a tough thing you're getting into, and I appreciate your time because it takes a lot to put yourself out there. It truly does. Uh huh.
Thanks, Aaron.
You know, if you're going to take away something from that conversation, I asked Mike, is he being used? And he said, I'm not being used. But yet he's allowed himself to be used by the good old boys. I mean, I'm sorry, Chad Major and them, they feel like they need to make sure that our mayor or anybody that cares about the community doesn't win. There's been a get along to get along kind of vibe in Pilot Point. When I was on city council, they were so worried about us being all on one sheet of music that they almost broke the law by city manager. So he would sit down with 3 people and say, this is what it is, this is how it's going. And then another 3 people would come in and have that same little talk with him. And I'm sorry, that is breaking the law, and that's a Meetings Act situation, but he was barely skirting it. So he stopped doing that. So what did they wind up doing? Justin made it very clear what they were doing. They were calling each other outside of the dais, and they came together speaking with one voice. And that's really illegal. And I can't wait to see what happens with that lawsuit that was given to. So when Mike Wilson came up to my driveway, I asked him, why is he letting himself be used? And he says, well, I'm not letting anybody be used. And then his wife tried to cut in and talk for him. That's a Chad Major action. His wife talks a lot for him. And I don't want to hear from the wives. I want to hear from the people that are running for office. And it's sad that these guys can't talk for themselves. They can't say what they believe, and their wives jump in and talk for them. And I'm sorry, if you're going to run for office, run on your own. Run on your own words. Let me hear what you think, not what your wife thinks. So I hope that changes. They need to just be themselves. And if they are afraid to be themselves in front of us, that's a big red flag. So another question that we came up with, or I asked, I was like, would you ever? I said, what do you think about what happened to Kelly Burgess? She was sued for exercising her First Amendment rights. And I asked Mike Wilson that, and you heard it. He said that she fraudulently filled out the documents. This is what they're telling themselves. This is what they're telling themselves in this little group. And I'm sorry, Chad Major knows better. He understands why he took them to court. He had a choice. He had a choice of take her to court, not take her to court. And they chose to take her to court. Look, the city manager and the city attorney don't act on their own. They have to get that authorization from city council. And guess what? They must have, in one way or another, got that authorization. So sitting back there and saying that it was because of fraud or she fraudulently filled out a document, that is unbelievable. That is lying, and that is gaslighting. If they thought that I was going to believe any of that. And if they told you that when they knocked on your door, and if they said something like that, that tells you what kind of person they are. So I went to an event in Aubrey this weekend, or last weekend, and it was amazing. We had Andy Hopper, Nate Schatzline, and Brandon Gill. Yes, the Brandon Gill. Brandon is an amazing guy. He is such a smart guy. He's representing Texas so well, and I'm just so proud of him. And here, I'm going to put a link down in the description because it is a great video if you haven't seen it. First off, it was the Texas representatives that got the floor first, and they went through everything that's going on in Austin.
I don't have much to offer because he just exposed exactly what we're facing. What I will say is, I think the key that he said is once we get into the room, we know now the cake is already baked. And the only way we're going to save Texas is to blow up the oven. So at the end of the day, our focus shifts back to, wait a second, we can't play by the rules of the House. And it was presented as, Nate, we are going to ban Democrat chairs. And I honestly, I couldn't even get excited when I heard the words because I understand how the leadership team works. And I thought, okay, how are we empowering Democrats in this? And as you begin to read, almost instantly you can see that, wait a second, so it codifies into House rules that we're going to ban Democrat chairs. However, it mandates that every vice chairman be a Democrat, thus giving more power to the Democrats and their office and manpower and less to the chairmen who are mandated to be Republicans. Oh, by the way, it does not count for subcommittees that are appointed directly by the Speaker and only has jurisdiction by the Speaker. Those can be Democrat chairs, but we ban Dem chairs because we are talking about subcommittees, not committees right now. So all of a sudden we go from 9 Democrat chairs last session to over 30 Democrat, I call them not vice chairs, but co-chairs this session. These are the types of games that we see when you're like, Nate, how in the world, if we ban Democrat chairs, and if you're in Denton County, maybe you got a text message sent out from your rep saying, look, we banned Dem chairs, you should be offended at the lie.
Can you believe what these people are doing? Did you notice who's doing this? Jared Patterson and the Dade Phelan Group. Jared Patterson and the Dade Phelan Group. And Dade Phelan goes all the way through our speaker, which is Burrows, and Jared, his little right hand henchman, these guys are a little cabal of power seekers. They're the ones who decided to say, the Republicans said, hey, let's vote Cook as a speaker so he can make sure our priorities are passed. If you don't know what our priorities are, they're right here. And when they said that, Dade Phelan's group with Burrows and Jared Patterson decided to say, you know what, hey, Democrats, we don't want to listen to these guys. We don't want to represent the people. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to gaslight them and tell them what they need. We want to tell them that they should think this way. And that's not what Patriots are doing. Patriots are saying, this is what it is. Do you understand it? Let me explain it. Hey, this is why we're standing up for you. That's where the Patriots are coming from. That's what the Reform Party is all about. And that's who was on the stage on Saturday. So it was amazing. It was eye-opening. It'd make you mad. But you know what? It's not all gloom and doom, because they only have 2 more years of this. 2 more years of using us. And so in 2 years, we'll be able to vote out Jared Patterson. We're looking for someone to replace him. And we'll be able to get rid of all those RINOs. So stay tuned. That's going to be a good fight, and I can't wait for it, because we're going to be fighting here in town. We're going to be fighting here for Texas. This is going to be a battleground right here in Pilot Point, because we're going to make sure everybody here understands what Jared Patterson and Burrows and the Dade Phelan group are doing to Texas. So that takes me to the conversation I had there in Aubrey. And a friend of mine there says, you know, I live in Sanger, and I didn't know she lived in Sanger. And she goes, we should put a group together here in this area, because we can bring more of these education and information seminars to you guys so you can be a part of it. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get together, and we're going to have a little group that actually is stationed here in our area, so we can start meeting monthly, bi-monthly, and just bring us together and get us on the same sheet of music, because there's a lot of lies and gaslighting out there by Jared Patterson, this Jared Patterson. And they rely on making sure you're as dumb as possible. But what we're doing, what the Patriots are doing, we're educating ourselves on the system they've been manipulating. Okay, let's get into some local politics, some local stuff that's happening here. You know, there's been a lot of gaslighting. And I don't know if you know this, but I absolutely hate gaslighters. When someone tries to tell you this is what you need to believe and you don't understand it yourself, and they sit there and they tell you lie after lie after lie. I mean, look at Rowdy. Rowdy's the biggest liar in the group. He's met with Stephen Berkelback, and he told him, I tried to lie enough so I can make you drop out. He told that to Berkelback. This is their strategy. Let me lie to you so you can back out. If I can lie enough, these people in Pilot Point will believe it. Can you believe they think that of you? They think you will listen to any lie and believe it. Hook, line, and sinker. That is absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry. You have the power to understand what's happening in this town. And all you got to do is see who is representing you. Who's represented you since she got in office. And I'm going to go on my little tirade of Elisa Beasley, because she has been working so hard to bring things into this town, and she's been fought every step of the way. And I think it was in the beginning of this year, she brought the home grant to help people that had worn out houses to get remodeled, refreshed for free. She brought it, and the council said, you know what? No, we don't want this here. Let's sit on this for a while. Let's sit on it. And it just got passed in November. They sat on it for months until they could, and then they claimed, I'm sorry, I heard Chad Major claim that he brought it. He helped vote to bring that into Pilot Point. So Chad Major said he helped vote to bring that in Pilot Point. It's absolutely true. He voted, but he also postponed it for, I think, about 6 or 7 months. It was nothing to really think about. It was a great opportunity to help the low-income housing here. Man, I didn't get the flyer. Did you get the flyer about Elisa Beasley? Boy, a lot to say on that one. So you remember I was talking about Jared Patterson and Dade Phelan. Do y'all really know who these guys are? These guys are the people that have been manipulating all of Texas for about 8 years. They have been They've been working with Democrats to make sure that they had the power, because if they work with Democrats, they get something out of it. I don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody understands what it is. It has to be more than just power. So I would really like to know. But here's the problem. They don't care about us. They care about themselves. And it's unbelievable. So they got together with Chad Major. I mean, he's all about working with Jared Patterson and that whole group. So, I mean, look at this. He loves standing next to him. He loves being right next to him, taking a photo. That is the most embarrassing photo I've ever seen. I shared it with everybody in Denton County. And if you haven't seen the response of that photo with someone that's running to be mayor, nobody wants part of him being in charge of anything. We're trying to get rid of those type of people. We are almost that close to getting rid of every single RINO out of Texas. And Chad Major wants to group up and be a part of that. I wonder why. Because he has deep pockets to put himself into the mayor's seat. That's what he wants. He wants to be a part of that cabal of power-hungry RINOs. As much as Chad Major is a conservative, he votes conservative. I pulled his record. He's a great conservative voter. But who is he voting for? He's obviously voting for Jared Patterson and Dade Phelan Group, the whole Dade Phelan Burroughs cabal. And that has to stop. We have to stop that today. We have to stop that and never go back to it. We need to have representation. We, the people, need representation. And it's up to us to make good choices. And you know what? Team Citizen, Elisa Beasley, these are the people that are going to represent you no matter what. They're going to be the people that are going to listen to you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to meet you out in the coffee shops. They're going to meet you out wherever you're at in the grocery store. They're going to talk to you and they're going to listen and they're going to take your word and say, you know what? I believe in this. Why aren't you doing this? And they will bring it up to the council. And if they don't, guess what? We are here to keep them accountable. We're not just going to be lemmings letting our city managers and city officials just do whatever they want. We're going to have real representation and accountability. Man, it's been really great. We got another, 19, 18 days until this is all over. We have a few more weeks. Early voting is starting. When is early voting starting? Hold on. Early voting starts April 22nd. You don't want to miss out. Get out in early voting. You know, there was this hiccup that Trump was pushing, don't early vote. Man, his campaign reversed that. He was like, that was the biggest mistake we ever did, is say we were telling everyone not to early vote and just wait to the day of voting. That was a mistake, and he's come out and said that. His people have come out and said that. So get out there and early vote. Rush those polls. As soon as they open, you should be standing in line and voting, because it matters what you think. And I'm sorry, Hispanic people, you normally don't go out and vote. Please get out there and vote. I don't care who you vote for Chad Major, vote for Elisa Beasley, but get out there and voice your opinion, because it does matter. You are 65% of this city, 65% of the city. Can you believe that? And you don't get out and voice your opinion. And this is how the good old boys run stuff. They get their choices in. They get their choices out there. They get to manipulate us by making sure their friends are in those seats. So it's about time we represent ourselves and get out there and vote, guys.